Welcome and welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. To those who might be new, we are the Light Renegades. We are a collective of Pleiadian beings bringing you information from the stratospheres that are ever expanding. We are disclosing cosmic secrets and bringing forward information that's hopefully allowing for you to stand ever more in your sovereignty and in your power. That being said, if you are here for the first time, I am going to be reading a pre-channeled message from the GA, which is our fraction of the Galactic Federation of Light that once was. And I want to share that this message very much reminded me of Anna Maria's channelings with the Pleiadian High Council. So if you feel aligned to this message, there are so many videos that Anna Maria brought forward through the Pleiadian High Council that was very much connecting to, trying to live an everyday life whilst going through a lot of expanse and in particular expressions of how to manage one's own feelings and expressions, connecting to others and your life path as you find it in the here and now. And this is definitely something that I've been struggling with on my path the entirety of my life, because I think I've always just been feeling into ether, into expanse. I resonate as being a Pleiadian Starseed, so I hopped into this body at birth. So I've been feeling the polarities of feeling all of my expanse summer, but also having to live a very 3D life. And it's not been until at least the first big chapter of my life that I'm starting to awaken to my deepest capacity of self and soul. But that means I still have this life that I still have to manage somewhere that is very 3D to its expression and all of this expanse at the same time. And we're trying to peddle these understandings and trying to bring it into the linear given time. All of it standing in our expanse and our expression. But I know that there are so many souls out there that are just seeding in, exponential understandings and rates of acceleration at this time that it is very difficult to go back to these expressions that, I'm going to label it as 3D, but I want to just say, life as it is. Because I don't want to take away from how precious and important all aspects of life are. And I'm ever more grateful for everything that I've been through in my life. But I realized it was my 3D life that has caused me the most amount of pain. So I was just running to all of this expanse and wanting to deny all of this, because that's where I found my pain. That's where I gained the most knowledge and the most understanding. But that was through a lot of pain in this life. So I've been craving to go back, craving to go back home, craving to go back to the stars, craving to go back to that deeper expression. And I know that it still hasn't been brought to me in my deepest capacity, because they said we cannot bring it into you because you will not come back. If we show you everything, you will not come back. You will not want to do the work that you've got done here. So I know that in my heart to be true. So I have to, appreciate where I am in this present given time, how much I can expand into already. And I think this is very much a channeling that's going to help some of you, I guess, put the weight down. I realized that I was trying to, or I didn't even know that I was consciously doing this, but I was trying to fit a mold of life and expression that wasn't necessarily even my own. I think that we've just been pulling bits and narratives from all of these expressions that is brought forward to us. This is friends, this is family, this is the mass media, this is mind control, this is the negative reptilian order, this is, convoluted understandings from previous lives, this is timeline understandings, this is, expressions of different people's consciousness that we're all trying to deal with and trying to come back to some sort of expression that feels like our own. There is a lot that we have to bat away before we find true self and soul. And the minute that you think that you found true self and soul, you are sent right back to the beginning of your expression again. And that's how it goes. So remember that, everyone. I've been sent right back to the beginning of my journey. So it feels like I've just been a puddle. I've been zero. I've been nothing. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just did not expect to be here right now. Yet I know it makes the most amount of sense, because we are expanding ever deeper into anything that is possible. So I had to be brought back to the beginning again so that I could, I guess essentially die again. I had to transform again. I'm still transforming so that I can step into the new layers of expanse that are ready for us, these new high vibrations that are ever expanding and ever ready for us, everyone. So I was grateful for this message from the GA. I feel like it sums up exactly where some of you might find yourself in your expression. And yeah, I just think it's a beautiful sentiment to make all of this make a little bit more sense. But the channeling yesterday was titled Forward, and they started with, Dear light beings, we come to you today with an acknowledgement of just how far you've come on your life path thus far. We see so many of you being too down on yourselves and seeking to know more, be more, and experience more. Right now, we wish for each of you to take a look around. What has changed? How far have you come? This is a practice of acceptance, but also mindfulness and a sense of knowing whom you are in the present given moment and not allowing for anything to sway you with such different notions. Some are under thick energetic manipulation at this time, and you haven't taken a second look as it feels oh so familiar. It feels normal, you feel sad, seemingly empty, seemingly with no purpose. And just this idea of that, if you have been feeling completely lost in your expression of yourself and your understanding, you might be under energetic manipulation or attack at this time. And, I don't like to use those words, but I can't think of anything that is I guess better to say right now. Brain is not working, but this idea of that if you are feeling incredibly in the pits of something, it's either coming from self or it's coming from an outside source, and you have to be aware of that. And this was something that I was learning the hard way on my journey, was that I was under the influence of other people's energies, other beings' energies out there that did not want me to prosper in my path. And at these times when I just felt like there was no future for me, that's not coming from soul. That expression never comes from soul, because soul is light and expanse, and it always sees the brightest aspects of life. So remember that if you are incredibly challenged right now in your expression, is this because you are having an overhaul of soul, or is this because you are under specific attack from somewhere else, or you are letting in energy that is not helpful to you in your expression right now? So think about that, everyone, where you see yourself. And apologies, I was trying to not use fear-mongering expression sort of attack, but I can't think of anything lighter to say right now. Apologies. This is a reminder to wake up. You are ready to say no to that of the past and look forward to a bright future. And we say future loosely. For some, nothing will change, yet you will be happier exactly where you are. This is no failure. This is not losing or not being enough. This is accepting that you are exactly where soul chose to be in order to grow and have the best well-rounded experience at a soul's level. However, know that this means you will be joyful, you will be hopeful, and you will indeed experience all that you chose to, which in turn leaves you feeling satisfied. And I think that's something that we often forget in this space of expanse. We're always seeking more. We're always seeking deeper knowledge, deeper expression. At least I know that I have been on my life path, and not truly understanding why my soul came here, why it came to experience such things, and specifically that of pain, of my past. I've just been running from the pain because I didn't want to look at it again, because it felt like I've already been through it. Why do I need to look at it again? But I'm being told to and shown, my past again, so that I could see the lessons in it this time and not be taken away and swept away in the emotion. And granted, I was supposed to be swept away in that emotion. I was supposed to feel that pain in order to grow. But now I get to look back at all my experiences and see the lessons that I have been taught in those spaces. So if you are feeling into that flow, and if you are hitting roadblock and thinking, I don't want to face this again, know that you're being faced with it again, so that you can see the lessons this time. And if you are still going through purging of expression of energy in that space, you are supposed to be there as well. Just appreciate every little bit of this journey. And I know that it's so incredibly difficult, and everyone has seen me here be all manner of expression in any given moment, and sometimes it's just the thickest of the darkest of path, and you just think, I don't want to do this. Why did I do this? Why did I choose to be here? But you always find a way out of it, is what I want to share. Some have forgotten the traps. This idea that your life is somehow isn't beautiful exactly as it is. That life somehow need be something else to suit and fit a narrative. We ask you today, whose narrative, whose script of you running off? Is it yours? And this idea of, what life is supposed to look like for you, where is that coming from? Really seed into that expression. What is it that you are striving for, and why? Why are you striving for such a thing? Is it truly coming from you? Is it coming from outside influence? Is it coming from others around you? This is about truly getting to soul's expression and what soul needs. And sometimes what we think we want in our mind, mind control. The mind has been controlled by other sources. Soul speaks from a different expression, and soul comes from the heart. And, I'm a very logical person. I've lived a lot of my life in my mind. I have a very sharp mind. I'm grateful for that, but it's also been my sharpest downfall many, many, many times on this path, and especially delving into expanse. So remember that the mind has been controlled from birth. The heart has not. So sink into heart space when making decisions of soul as well, everyone. Take a moment and pause right here, and now tune in and listen. What do you hear? What are your thoughts saying to you? What is the outside noise saying to you? Have you taken a moment to truly listen? Life becomes busy. It becomes so busy, and you forget to just be and experience it all without bias. No need for anything or any other than what no need for anything to be anything other than what it is. For many we I was saying, sorry, I'm going to start again. No need for anything to be anything other than what it is. For many, we are saying this as we see you struggle, feeling as though things aren't moving as quickly as you would like, as smoothly as you would like. This is your reminder that everything and always will be working out for your highest good, even in times of seemingly such sadness and pain. You are in a season of change, perhaps contradictory, but we want you all to ask yourself, what is it you want to change about you, your life in the given time, here and now, and why? We think that the answer you will find in this time of shift will be thoroughly different from that 6 months ago, even 2 weeks ago. You are all expanding at exponential rates. Please do not hold on to anything too tightly as you shift and change. Evolution of soul isn't always smooth sailing. However, it does bring calmer waters and softer seas when the waves come crashing in, and as they always do. Such is life and expanse. Do not be grievesome of what has been, be in flow of all that is possible. I'm going to read that again. Do not be grievesome of what has been, be in flow of all that is possible. Do not be grievesome of what has been, be in flow of all that is possible. We are with you every step of the way, bright lights, make no mistake, but know that we have given some of you the reins. No more safety wheels, you have evolved. We are merely moving the parts to suit your understanding. You have taken the driver's seat, so to speak. Congratulations. Call upon us anytime you need. We are never far away. We are never too far away, often sat right beside you. Have you seen us? And I realized that expression was brought forward maybe in 2023. I realized 2023 feels like a complete lost year for me. I feel like I don't know what happened in that year. It feels like I just don't know. I blinked and it's disappeared in my expression. And I feel like this message of some of us being given the wheels to our life was brought forward in our space and in our time. But I realized that in given us the driver's seat, we then had to deal with the combative nature of the energies around us before we could truly take the wheel in the way that we wanted to take it. So it feels like we've been given the wheel, we've been trying to, drive down the road, but then there's been things along our way. There's been expressions that have been brought forward that have been challenging to us. So then, we've paused, we've stopped, we've swerved, we've gone off track, we've gone off course, and now we're coming back with all of those lessons learned, and we're trying to drive down, the road again. And we'll always be met with challenges. This idea of that the waves always come crashing in, and such is life, and that is expanse. When you're here on Earth, you are expanding, and I forgot that, somewhere on this path, I just became this energy, this expression, and I was just focusing on so much of the external and having to, I've been seeding in expressions of different star systems, different layers of knowledge to do with the negative reptilian order. I was just gaining a lot of information that I hadn't quite brought it down into soul, and now we're bringing it down into soul's expression. We've learned so much, and now we get to step forward in what we want to be experiencing. So this is a test of soul. This is an expression of soul. What is it that you want right now, and why? Is it coming from you? Seed in that notion, try and get back to soul. Please sit in silence. I found the most amount of clarity and knowledge in this whole entire expression of everything that I've done, just sat in silence. And I wasn't a being that delved into a lot of information at the beginning of my path, and I've had to see that the method to the madness, and that I very much came into all of this not even knowing what channeling truly was, not knowing what anything really meant in all of these realms. And I know so many of you have a different expression of that. You've been delving into so much of this expanse for the entirety of your lives, and you're perhaps still seeking so much expression from teams of light out there. But what I've been starting to understand is that the souls that have been doing the absolute most energetically come in the most unassuming forms is what I want to share. So this idea of have we been sat right beside you? Have you seen us? There have been so many souls that I've seen of late with just the brightest light, and not seemingly where I thought these bright lights would be in their expression. So remember that, everyone. Are you this brightest light that ever exists in your present given space? Because I guarantee that you probably are, but you're not giving yourself enough credit in how much you've already seeded into your life and expression, because you're seeing it as something, I guess, menial compared to expanse. And I think there is a lot of ego that goes along with this journey of expanse and what that means. And we start to see everyday 3D life as not worth anything, when it is worth absolutely everything. This whole world is continuing to turn, and yes, we are seeding in so much expanse, but we have to be there as well to be seeding in all expressions at any given moment. So if you're out here and you're doing the most in your smaller community, in your family home, if you are raising a family, you are raising the most brightest seeds that could have ever have graced this planet at this time, and you have a very important job to do, is what I want to share. So please go easy on yourself, have more compassion for yourself and other souls around you. But this is about understanding that anything is possible, but what does that possible truly mean at soul? What is it you want to experience in heart? What is your heart telling you you want to experience? Not some preconceived notion of what life should look like, you know, what I want to say what luxury or expanse looks like too. I feel like there is a deeper expression being brought forward of the wholesome heart right now. And that's not going to be for everyone, but I feel like there might be a collective energy and a collective shift that is happening at this time to allow for us to come back into soul and into heart above all else. So being accepting of exactly where you are because you chose to be there and you've been working through so much, and allowing for that to be your truth. You've been doing the most wherever you find yourself in your life, I promise you. No matter what you think your life looks like or is in lack of, the lack mentality, lack expression is definitely something that I've been dealing with the entirety of my life, and expression specifically in this expanse. And I'm having to be incredibly grateful for everything that has been in my life thus far, even spaces where, you know, I felt like I was in the most amounts of lack, because it's really shaped me. And actually there's been a lot of heart that has been brought forward in my spaces. You know, money might have not have been at the forefront of my expression through the entirety of my life, but there has been a lot of wholesome love that I've experienced, you know, from many different souls along this path, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So seed in that notion some out there and remember that. But this is about expressing self and soul, and you know, having aspirations for future and expression, but also being in the utmost amounts of gratitude every step of the way, because wherever you find yourself that you've landed, or you've seemingly, you know, stumbled upon the path and ended up there, it's never by chance. Nothing is by chance on this road of expanse of living. Everyone is exactly where they are supposed to be, and I think sometimes it takes us a dropping of the ego, a dropping of what we thought that we should be experiencing, to just be in the moment and to truly enjoy it, even when it's in the bleakest of expression. And, you know, my heart and my soul goes out to anyone that is in a real dark expression right now. This is not to take away from your understanding, but just know that if you are there, you chose to be there, soul chose to be there for one reason or another, and you will either break free or you'll be seeding in expression for another lifetime. So hold that in heart. The pendulum always swings. If you're in the darkest depths right now, the pendulum will swing back, you know, to the brightest light at some point in your journey. Please hold that as your truth and in your knowing. But that's all for myself and the GA today, and I'll be back real soon. Thank you for bearing with me, everyone. Words, sentences, everything still aren't quite flowing as they once used to. But I'll be back real soon. Take care for now.